Jennifer, what do you think? How much responsibility does Twitter bear here?
Well, I think we're seeing that the election in particular has highlighted and amplified how impactful social media is having, whether it's Twitter or Facebook. And so I think all of these private organizations, and we have to emphasize that these are private organizations, they aren't subject to First Amendment coverage, they're not subject to common carrier rules, but how they think about their impact requires them to reflect on what that looks like, even if it's a small percentage of that today, how that will change over time, and what kind of tools that they can use to on a non-arbitrary basis, manage fake news or harassment or aggression through their sites is something that they need to be taking a look at, and I suspect they are.
It's interesting. Of course, Twitter and Facebook are of completely different sizes. Facebook is enormous. David Kirkpatrick, who did that interview with Mark Zuckerberg and wrote the book on Facebook, suggested earlier this week that Jack Dorsey is taking a much more political stance, and where we're seeing Mark Zuckerberg be much more apolitical here.
Absolutely. Zuckerberg, it's very important to him personally to appear unbiased. We saw how Facebook reacted to the dispute earlier this year around trending topics when Gizmodo reported that there may be some liberal biases in the stories that they selected to be trending. Facebook almost overreacted to that. They fired the human editors. They invited conservatives to headquarters to speak with Zuckerberg and learn more about how newsfeed works. This is a very tricky place for Zuckerberg to be in. He does not want to be the arbiter of truth. He doesn't even want to block, biased opinion-mongering news, opinion masquerading as news. Those are going to be the most difficult articles for Facebook to try and restrict. Fake news could be easy. Those kind of things that are trying to persuade people are going to be a lot harder.
Jennifer, do you think Facebook needs to take greater responsibility to add more human editors, human curators of news, more like Yahoo News did back in the day?
Well, I think that Facebook has never characterized themselves as a news site. It's never characterized itself as a promulgator of news. And so I think that putting that responsibility on them from a human editing perspective then actually raises their liability.
But the reality is, users are seeing so much of their news through Facebook.
I think that's fair, and the type of information that's shared. I think actually there may be some automated tool solutions, and users, don't forget the power of users themselves to be able to self-manage and self-regulate, and there's quite a lot of that already today. And Zuckerberg could actually put more tools in place to enable the individuals to be able to manage that as well.
But if people are only clicking on stories they agree with, maybe they won't understand what's fake, or maybe they have been, lacking their own tools to discover what news is or isn't to be believed.
I think that's a challenge, and I think that's a challenge, though, even before Facebook came along, because people often choose to hear information that they want to hear, and they choose Fox News over CNN in the same fashion. So how much of that responsibility falls back to Zuckerberg and Facebook versus the individual and the consumer and the education system that where we try to foster acceptance of different voices? By
the way, Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, did publicly endorse Hillary Clinton in this particular election.